Hi, everyone. Welcome to our channel. Today, we're going to be going over 5 lessons that we learned in our 5 years of marriage. And to make this interesting, we didn't have a discussion prior to recording this video.
It's raw, unfiltered.
I'm curious to know what you have learned.
You don't always have to answer immediately. That's a big one. Like, especially for me, my wife, I think her brain works so much faster than mine does. I generally need some time to process and make sure that I'm fully understanding what I'm responding to. Because earlier on in my marriage or in our marriage, I would just respond, and then she would break apart the response like, "Yo, what do you mean by da?" And now you're going deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into a hole. So sometimes now I've just realized, no, you don't have to answer. Take some time, think about it, break it down, digest, come back once you have your thoughts put together.
How long is you need to think
It should
about
be
it?
a
Like it's
defined amount of time. Like, I mean, a day, even a few hours. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be okay. Next week we'll have the discussion. But yeah, it's gonna be different,
true.
right? Depending on the talk. But yeah,
Mhm.
5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour. But just make sure you guys both
Mhm.
know that okay, at this time we'll come back together and we'll continue that discussion.
Yeah, and that is true. When we're not agreeing on something, he will ask you, okay, babe, can we get back to this at the end of the day? Or can we talk about this when we put the boys down? I just need time to think about it. And it took some time for me to learn that he's not being dismissive and that he just needs some time to break down everything. The second lesson for me is love languages change. And I know we did a recent episode on love languages and we touched on what that was and how they look like in marriage. But prior to getting into marriage, my love language was quality time. It still is, but from quality time, I guess with kids as well, you have less of it compared to when we were dating, right? When we were dating, it was just me and him. We could up and go anyway. But when the kids came, some of the things, like I said, that speak so much love for me now is acts of service. Right? It's him, maybe me coming back home, and on that day, I'm supposed to be making dinner, and he has made dinner. And it's just an act of, don't worry, you just relax today. I got you. I got you, my baby. So, love languages do change, and keep reviewing them in your relationships. Okay. And words of affirmation, guys. I love them now, you know?
Are you just gonna say all the love
No,
languages?
no, those two. Do you know why? Because when someone is asking you out, they will tell you the world and everything you want to hear. They'll remind you every day why you're the right person and stuff like that. But when you get married, guys, it's like you got your trophy. You're like, all right, checklist this done. All right, what's next? Maybe kids, buying property and stuff like that, right? But the checklist, the wife checklist is like, babe, please tell me how I look today. It's
Okay.
I see you, I love you, I do this, but you also do it so well. So thank you very much.
Appreciate you.
Okay.
And guys, these are not in any particular order. These are just things that we've learned over the course of our marriage.
Yeah.
But just building off of what Pi says, another thing that we've learned is you are going to have to learn some new strengths for the benefit of your marriage, right? And I'll use a very, very simple example that everyone will understand. Putting down the toilet seat. Putting down the toilet seat, right? So it's a learned strength because as fellas, we pee standing up, right? You lift the toilet seat, you do your thing, and it's so easy to forget the seat up, right? As ladies, they do the opposite. They need the seat down so that they can do their business, right? So um, I know for myself, closing the toilet seat wasn't
Putting the toilet seat.
sorry.
I don't know, closing.
Putting the toilet seat down was not something that I would always do. And it was something that irked her, right? It was like, yo, can you not put the toilet seat down? What's wrong with you? Like she was ready to fight, you know? And she would constantly remind me, hey, put the toilet seat down, put the toilet seat down, put the toilet seat down. And I'm happy to say that for the most part, I put the toilet seat down, right? But strength in both ways, right? Because it was me not putting the toilet seat down, but from my wife's perspective, now as well, she checks more before she sits down, right? So she'll check that the seat is down prior to sitting. Whereas before, okay, not Gara. That means she would just sit down, right? But now she checks if it's up, she'll lower it. She might just remind me gently, hey, 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 and then it's just that constant reminder of, hey, let's do these things. Let's learn these strengths.
And this skill took some time for my beloved to learn. And I also started understanding that, hey, if he's doing this for most of his life, it's going to take time for him to change. So the few times that he would remember, I'll probably find a way to celebrate him. I'll be like, babe, thanks for remembering me. Because the reason why it actually irked me is I wasn't used to it. So, like you said, when I stayed by myself, I would just go to the toilet and sit without even checking, right? Autopilot. But the couple of times he lifted up, I would literally almost fall into the toilet. Now we have kids. So it's like, do you want your whole family to fall in the toilet? Anyway, thanks, Faith. Thanks,
That's
Faith.
fine.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
My lesson, and that would be number 4, right? Is you have to be intentional about loving your partner. So in my case, about loving my husband. Especially when the little minions come through, the kids. And that's because by nature, us ladies, we know how to take care of people who are especially younger and need our love and attention, right? But when you get married, it's so easy to get into that role and stop seeing your spouse. You start taking care of the kids to the point that you don't realize that your husband is there and also needs you, right? So being intentional is with my kids. I
With
actually
our kids.
sorry. With
Okay.
our kids. Oh, thank
Yeah,
you.
that's
With our kids, right? I have really taught them something that they remind me that he's my husband, right? So one of the things with my oldest, and now he does it so much, is I refer to him as my husband when I'm talking to our son, right? So I'll be like, oh, I miss my husband, I need to give him a call. And then I'll call him, and then husband is dad. So then I'll be like, hi dad, I miss you, I love you. Like, I'm so intentional about talking like that to my husband, even when our kids are listening, guys. I'm used to referring about the kids when I'm not around him. So he's part of me. But anyway, yeah, so I refer to him as my husband. And we're Christians, and one of the things that we are called to do as wives is to honor our husband and to let him be the head of the house. So that means obeying him and listening to whatever he has to say, right? So part of that is sometimes when it's screen time, I don't know, our son has noticed that mom is a bit of the more softer one, right? Mom will be like, "Mom, can we watch something?" And I love watching them, but watching with them Bible stories and teaching them about God. So I'm like, if I'm not talking about it, then we're gonna watch a show that will better illustrate it in their age appropriate understanding, right? So now sometimes it's not screen time. So now they'll be like, "Mom, can you do this?" And you know what he said the other day? I'm like, "No, go ask daddy for that." And then he's like, "Mom, but you're the one who gives us screen time more than dad. Dad will probably say no." I was like, "What?"
That's hard. No screens. Go read a book.
Ah, when you watch this one day, Kai, that was one time as a young kid that you fumbled. Because I was like, this guy already can't see this. So then I told him, I'm sorry, I cannot put screen time because I have to obey my husband. The Bible says I need to obey my husband. So if daddy says no screen time at this time, even I have to listen to him. So stuff like that is stuff that I've chose to say to my kids so that they also learn the structure of a house. They learn dad's position in my life. And then also, so now on our way to school, I've made it a point to call my husband, and he also makes sure that we connect before we go to school because he loves to pray for us while we're in the car. He starts work very early, so we catch up with him on our drive to school. So I'll be like, "Oh, Kai, guess who I'm about to call?" Kai's like, "Your husband." So it's like, so it's actually kind of cool when your son looks like your husband. And even the other day, I wore his sweater, and then Kai sees me and says, "Why are you wearing your husband's sweater?" Like it's so anyway, I've had to be intentional. Again, I've mentioned a couple of things we do as a family. I do to make sure that I connect with him, and the kids also see who he is. And I've also made I'm still working on this. I am not perfect at all, but I do try remember that he's also my big baby. So there are certain moments that he might look macho and everything, but there are times that he needs some.
We need love too. We need love too.
Anyway, I know that was a little bit long, but that's my lesson.
Lesson number 5: allow your partner time to be themselves, right? So
That's a good one.
just to do them, to be them, whether that's, an hour for them to read a book or an hour for them to, just sit in their own quiet space, take the kids, go do something with them, and just allow pie to be pie, allow chenge to be chenge, right? So that is a huge one because I know for myself, I do better in the mornings. So just finding that time where the house is quiet, I don't have responsibilities, I don't have to be dad. I don't have to be necessarily husband in that moment. I just have to be chenge, right? And just use that time, to plan my day, to form my thoughts, or just to go through something in my mind for my own mental clarity, right? But if you don't intentionally make time for your partner so that they can do that, sometimes just life itself becomes overbearing,
Yeah.
right? You just get so caught up in, oh yeah, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to do that, and then you just don't give yourself time to have that space.
Truly agree. Again, it took a bit of time for me to completely understand that he's a morning person compared to burning the midnight oil. I'm kind of the opposite. So, if we had projects or shooting YouTube videos and stuff like that, like we would, well, by nature, I'll do it after work and after everything. So, with time, he was a trooper, a team player, and he would show up. But then I kind of started noticing that I think you were sort of starting to sink and you felt like you were going out of who you are. So it was like, babe, I think I would like to start waking up in the morning and doing things compared to having to go through the night doing that and we have work the next morning. So the time took time, but I myself now I am transforming into a morning person again. Not that I want to infringe in his time of not being a husband or a dad, but hey,
We'll see how this goes. We may need to make some adjustments. Hey, go back. Good midnight. But no,
but I do let him go. Like he loves being in the basement in the space that we've set up. So I'll let him be down and then I'll be doing my thing somewhere else. And I've also realized that, that's a good thing about marriage. I didn't realize that I can easily transform and also function better as a morning person through uni. I would study through the night and if I felt like I had more time through the night, but the couple of times I've woken up in the morning, I've managed to do more than I've done burning through the night because probably there's mental clarity, you've rested, your body is ready to absorb whatever you're doing. So that's something that I am thankful that I got married to a morning person and it has started rubbing off to me because I wouldn't have known that there's much more productivity in the morning with all the good things that come with resting. So thank you for that. I have a bonus one that I would like to
nice.
go over myself. But one of the lessons I learned is you have to lose in order to make the marriage win. All right. By this, I mean we're individuals. There are certain things that I prioritize that I like to do. But for our marriage, there are certain things that I have to lose or to be a part of, which is the losing part for me. But it's not like losing, but it's more, you're not getting your way, but when you do it, it adds more to the marriage. So an example of this is I do not like watching sports, right? When my husband's watching soccer, like he's an Arsenal fan.
We're winning this year. This is our year.
Okay, Annie.
I have to speak it into existence.
Okay. Calm down, calm down. Again, this is pressure on the household. I will explain. But especially the moments that Arsenal was losing, man. Like I would ask him, babe, why are you watching a game? Like, is this not stress you are applying for? Like, why are we watching 90 minutes of torture, right? So sports for me, when I watch them, my mind is like, I have to win, I have to win. But when we lose, I guess that's something I have to learn. But you know what? I call watching sports voluntary stress. So, but anyway, when I come back to this, is I do not like watching sports, but my husband is a sports person, soccer person to be specific. So sometimes I know recently, what cup was Arsenal playing when they
Carabao Cup.
Carabao Cup, yeah. So he kept saying, "Babe, tomorrow's the Carabao Cup. Let's go to church early so that I can come back and watch it." And then for this moment, he's like, "Are you gonna watch it with me?" Guys, I was like, "Why did you have to ask me in the open?" I was just going to, slither around when the game started somewhere. So, that's the part whereby I was like, I went back, I'm like, this time is different because he's asked me to watch this with him. It's different than having a choice and then finding other things to do that are also productive, right? So for here, I was like, you know what? I'll watch the game with him. But I need to also make sure, just in case Arsenal loses, he has another win. So for this Carabao, that's the part about also being intentional that I spoke about, right? I made a wonderful breakfast according to my standards, right? I made it like, there's normal breakfast.
English continental breakfast.
There's normal breakfast, and then there's that breakfast the breakfast of champions. That's what I made, right? And this was prior to the game. So when the game started, the breakfast was almost done, and we ate breakfast while watching the game. And to him, I think it spoke a different thing. Like, not only had I sat down to watch, but I was super intentional about making the whole event bigger in our own way, right? In my mind, I had told myself, let me make this breakfast so that just in case Arsenal loses, he has won in the breakfast era. So, it was like, just in case there's a loss, he has a good comeback. He's like, no, at least we had a wonderful time. We ate a wonderful breakfast, and the day goes by. So that was how I planned it in my mind. But to him, I knew it would be interpreted a different way. This was just a secret I let out. But you have to lose in order to make the marriage win. So there's going to be a lot of things that you're going to self-sacrifice that you potentially don't want to be a part of, but for the greater good of your marriage, to make it strong, to make the love bond much, much stronger, you're going to have to do those things for the sake of a wonderful marriage. So that wraps up our...
See, she keeps touching my beard. Like, yeah, what's up? Okay.
And also, this is not a lesson, but you will... Maybe it's just me, but yeah, you love to grow the beard. The beard, is very comforting. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'm pretty sure we still had more to say, so probably we'll make another video and we'll touch on other lessons we've learned. But for today, this is where we're gonna end.